like the stream is getting there. Let's see. All right. We are live. Let's see if we can adjust our levels here for you. Okay, coming into here, we do have overnight highs there. I think the previous day high level is there. So we got that. This is going to be that FOMC high. You can see yesterday, Jay Powell, during his conference, spoke, got a little chop, got a little manipulation. We made a few dollars on that, and then we popped off once he was done talking. Markets just completely finished their sell-off. So this overnight low here is not going to be the overnight low. I'm going to move that. The previous day low is down right there below those circles. I'm going to get rid of this line for you. Got to zoom in some to get a real more precise level. That's a little bit better. Okay. Now overnight low. Let's see what we got here. I'm going to use this. Oh, gosh. Once again. There we go. We have a gap up again today. I'm going to use these levels here for S&P. I'm going to keep this 478 level out there, the blue line, as yesterday's, the bottom end of this gap. We also have a small little area there. So it's up to about, let's go with this. We'll draw a little purple zone for you to visualize the gap to be filled. It's a rough zone, right? Market closed there, so that's why I drew at the bottom of that candle, or the day closed there, and it opened technically up here, but we recovered some of it. So the gap realistically is right in that area right there. See if we can reclaim that. I'm not going to draw that up as the overnight low, but I'm going to utilize it as an area of interest. We're going to use this as the overnight low here because it was the most important area after the market closed yesterday. Okay, so that's why I draw it up there. We now have our levels set. We have the market moving around in the middle of a zone, so we're really not anywhere of an interest yet, except for the 600 level here. We wicked into it 3 times, grabbed some liquidity above it, potentially look to short it down on open, but I want to see it pop up over there. That's not my game plan. Isn't necessarily to just go and grab that short right off the jump, but we will see what happens. As always, the TradeCaster link is in the chat. Let me throw up some of my other things here. Go hit up my Instagram at Policing Pips. I tend to post some education stuff there, some other things, some content. So just keep a lookout for it. When it comes to economic data today, the title of the week, this video today is FOMC yesterday, NFP tomorrow. Today is a rest day, question mark. Because we already got our productivity stuff, all this 7:30 a.m. stuff. Didn't really move anything. 9 o'clock, we have factory orders. Also something I feel like really won't move the market much. If we're super consolidated, maybe it'll break us out of a range, but I doubt it. Just this today is maybe more the auction rates could give you some direction on the move, but tomorrow, NFP, unemployment, PMI at 9. These are the things that are going to move the market. So today maybe an inside type day where we could capitalize on some rotational moves from that overnight high to overnight low. But we should still have our volume come in today. So let's watch, wait, see. Good morning, Temple. Good morning, big guy. How we doing? I came on at 1 o'clock yesterday to do the rate meeting, and we caught $350 short. I could have caught a little bit more, but I grabbed my overnight high level instead of my trailing stop loss, and I just popped it in there. just above the level where we were at, and it got stopped on it. But overall, I entered it twice. The first one was break even. Second time, I kind of just caught my money and ran. So today we are looking to capitalize once again. Look to see this thing pop over that overnight high potentially, but I think that 600 level pop right there just kind of tickled right into it, and now it's fading it. Today we have Apple earnings after market close, so we're going to watch Apple, see what it does today. I don't think it's going to drive the markets, but after market it will. Microsoft ticking up. NVIDIA, after yesterday, NVIDIA starting to creep up once again on the open. So we're going to watch this market try to push upside a bit. If I could get it up there. If it's going to sell off, then so buttons. Where's the PJ Mask? Sorry, Maximus wants my PJ Masks. No PJ Masks on stream today. I want to see this thing get up a little higher. You know, maybe use this VWAP as support, but if it flushes the VWAP, it had an AI report. Yeah, what time was that at? This was what time? They have earnings after market hours too, so there's probably going to be something. Well, they're supposed to have earnings. Oh, that's NVIDIA, duh. Yeah, so they had some AI set to throw billions more into cash at investors at its stocks as its stock slumps. And then the earnings is anticipated 1.5 billion, an estimate of 90.366 billion. So earnings is $1.50 per share. I apologize. So there's a chance that Apple just kind of sells off through 168 on earnings today, just based purely on how beaten down it's been. And any good news that it gets, it still sells off. So I think maybe Apple kind of gets sold. If I had a long-term portfolio that I was buying into something, I'd probably buy into Apple as it goes down, especially on a bad earnings. Maybe wherever it bottoms, look to try and secure some more profit, secure some more shares on it. But that's just more long-term idea for Apple. We just kind of crept into just below the VWAP, but S&Ps is still holding above, so I don't really see that being a confirmed move to the downside. Let's go to our... You got a nice delta push to the downside there on that last candle. Quite interesting there. Price wants to go down. Maybe it was a manipulation, right? Pop up, manipulate just below the lows, and now run to the highs. I don't have a break-even button on Top Step X. There's a flatten and a cancel. I have been in the business on the Top Step X platform of grabbing my stop and just running it on my own. I think there's a way in the settings. I'm going to let this thing kind of dance around here. Maybe is there an alert button? Let me see if there's an alert. Nope, there's just horizontal lines. They have it? Let's see, settings. Who does it on the Top Step TV? Data update, plot alignment, privacy. Maybe he's talking about adding it. I don't want to use their bracket orders right now. I want to test those out on a combine maybe later. If I find it, I'll let you know. But if it's that hard to find, it's probably not just easy to access. I have a buy, sell, join, ask, join, bid, close, reverse, cancel, flatten, and cancel all. Maybe if I right click. Now. So there's the selling coming in. Oh, huge size right here. At 53, we got 124 contracts, 167, 124, 167. These are time and sales. Those are full fills of a bigger size here down at 53. So watch those sells come in heavy and hot. Nice heavy delta. So the push to the downside is probably confirming right now. Watch this lower VWAP band, which would probably get us down into that gap close, which would have been a really nice trade here up and through 600. That wick of 600 I was interested in, but for me, I needed to get up over that overnight high. I mean, if we consider the overnight high even the top of that purple zone, you know, I can't front run it right now. I got to just be patient. I know my levels work, so got to just be cautious. Let it happen. Let it play out. Because, you know, even if we get down here, we probably can get some reaction off of it. We had all those touches yesterday, and then on the top side, we had all those touches. This purple area here right now is going to be that gap fill. If you have Top Step TV up at all during the day, just type a little message in the chat. See if any of those people will answer. And say, where's his break-even button at, dog? 76% short. That's a heavy short tilt. 79, 80%. I would be cautious on this continuing at the moment. Maybe watch for a little bit of a bounce at some point here. We're not at my levels yet. Maybe it'll be 80% down here into the gap. NVIDIA popping upside. 74% short. S&Ps, does it have a level right here? Yes, it does. Could bounce off that. Kind of would have liked that 600 short. That wick right there for me is very interesting. Getting that opening range short from that, you know, the initial one gives you $400 something dollars. You'd be sitting up 1,000. But as I always mention, I can't really do anything above a VWAP that's so tight to the VWAP, right? If I got up into my other level up here and it's set up for me, then I could have taken the short. But the initial setup there did not work for me just because of the tightness to VWAP. It's only 10, not even 10 points. 7 points is from the VWAP. So I could not take that trade there. I still want to be patient. I still want to wait. NVIDIA is still spiking right up into that 856 level. So if NVIDIA can crack above 856, this might be the bottom right here for now. If it fails 856, then you rotate downside. But now the tilt has kind of weaned off. Microsoft is selling. Microsoft is going to sell down into 394 potentially. It looks like it wants to. Maybe even lower. Yesterday's low was 391, 390, 50. Vamos Frias, what's up? So you took that short from 564 to 528. 564 to 528. Very nice. I'll take that. Now, as far as a rejection of VWAP, what did you look for? You looked for the flush, then the break above, and then the rejection below this candle here, 64. So you looked for legit just enter at VWAP and rotate off of it after the first break. Shane. I know it's possibly a little dark in this room, but I think the computer screens give me enough light. So if you can't see me, let me know. But I think it's okay. It just didn't have the light on in here, and it's dark in here. Checking my phone. Somewhere over here. Do you have to be in a position, I guess? Buy one. So it would be next to... You have to be in the position. Okay, so it would be up here somewhere next to no active positions. We'll try it. We'll give it a shot. Thank you. I appreciate that, dude. Because I have, yeah, definitely. Because I always go, hey, I'm going to go to break even. I pull it down. But if I just could enter and just click it and then start my trail from there, it'd be good. And that would have helped me yesterday because I could have clicked that break even and then started my trail on that short from on the FOMC. Heavy delta to the downside. Price tried to wick the low and is trying to reject as well. We got the value area high, value area low here at 17,543. Delta is still pushing heavy to the downside. I think that possible continuation down, at least into this bottom VWAP, has some legs, but could be diverging here from price. Russell still ticking downside right into its pretty much overnight support level at 2004, 2005. A level at 31. It's very important. It's a key spot based on these overnight levels here and even into the wicks yesterday. This whole zone really from 20 to 30, 30, 31, right? 27. It does have a good area of rejection here. So from there, 31 to 21. So a 10-point zone, which pretty much is what we just wicked and rotated out of. If you got a level and you're going to play it, have a reason to get in, have a reason to get out, and let it work. Personally, like I said, I don't, especially the first trade of the day, I'm not looking to get into anything in the middle of my zones. Obviously, overnight high, overnight low, previous day low, and then previous day high all the way up there. So I don't anticipate getting involved in anything up there. It could be a thing that happens. If we break out from the overnight high and don't get a failed breakout, we get an actual confirmation, especially because that's over the 600 level. Potentially could get to the overnight high, and then instead of failing the level, it pops up and continues on and tries to clean up some of that move yesterday that even though it went up, it went down, cleaned it up. We're back to, just an organic environment here. We are going to watch the non-farms tomorrow. That's going to be the big key number pre-market open at 7:30 a.m. See if I can get up and get on the charts before then. I doubt it. I usually like to let that thing settle down, not trade the number, and then find the continuation of whatever it's doing. Microsoft curling upside now. NVDA. NVIDIA is still trying to break through that 856 level on the upside. So I like the way this sets up. Like that wick off bottom, trying to push back up. Obviously very close to VWAP here. So for me, nothing. But I like it. I do like it. What is this? Oh, it's PDF. Just try and close out some of these things. Go to here. Delta still pushing downside, just straight downside push in the selling. Even down here, right? Price is trying to chop around, trying to get up higher, and Delta saying, no, we have some sellers down here to be working with. And then also, like I said, value area low is right here, just sitting here at 40-ish. So that's kind of why it's dancing around that level. Could this Delta get a heavy another leg to the downside? It could. We do have down to that VWAP lower band right there. I think it's acting on its own currently. Right now, it's very interesting. A lot of times, so last week I kind of got myself in trouble, Zuka-san. I was really watching NVIDIA and I was watching Microsoft, and everything was pulling the market down. And the NVIDIA, the NQ is completely diverged. It was much higher in relative nature to the Mag 7 names. So when that usually happens, I look for what's going on in the other names, right? So the NQ has pulled down here We are below the opening range. Russell, small cap world, is well below and still selling pretty heavily down through its opening range low, and even down into some of these the lows from yesterday is trying to push through all of the overnight levels. So I'm watching Russell as the leader right now, and then as well as the S&Ps is right up against a support level from pretty much midnight, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning, and then yesterday pre-market as well, right around the same time. So if the S&Ps cracks below here, it probably does drag the NQ downside a little bit further. I also think that a lot of these big names like Nvidia and Microsoft are into areas that are a bit of resistance for us, right? I don't know why Microsoft's not showing pre-market. There we go. For me, you can't see it. Microsoft has 398 as overhead resistance. So if this is holding downside, being below VWAP, if Microsoft rejects, let's call it 398, and starts to sell off from there, then the NQ will follow because it's relatively weak compared, right? If these Mag 7 names just continue to push upside and break out and start to drag it up, then you'll start to see maybe the NQ will be like, all right, we got to get up and catch up to it. But right now, it looks like Nvidia. If you look at Nvidia, it's been like, oh, that's the wrong chart. Nvidia's here. Nvidia has these wicks up at my major structure level, right? That 856, right? We came up to it. We rejected once, twice, 3 times. Now this fourth candle didn't even come up into there. It came up to 854 and has another nice long wicking tail on the 5-minute chart here. So the relative weakness of the NASDAQ compared to a name like Nvidia, right? If Nvidia does start to sell off, then that'll confirm that the NQ was leading the downside push and that it'll pull us down further because these names are going to start to sell off from their resistance levels, right? So now Nvidia is selling off a bit. Nvidia is selling, and you got NQ still kind of holding here. If it does crack through this level, this 31 level that Kramer was talking about, then probably down into that 80, that 78 level we go, because we're closer to the 78 level than we are the overhead level. So I would say we have a magnet down to the 78, and then we see what happens there. If we can get to the overnight low, if we close the gap up, which is this purple box, which I would anticipate happening, that small gap definitely wants to close, especially since we're so close to it. You know, we cracked through that 31. Now we're already down at 20. So you already got, 10 points worth of that flush. If it cracks this low, I would say 70, 78 comes in. You also have to understand this is the futures market, right? So this is where we're pricing things into the future of this market. Where do we think that later on down the road, this contract, I believe, is what month are we in currently? The M month. I think M is June. So yeah, it's the June contract. So this is where they think price will be in June for the majority of these caps. Obviously, it is getting weighted down, but you can see, as I mentioned, if Nvidia fails that level, which it just did, it failed it, it's pushing downside. Now you're going to start to see NQ, which was leading to the downside, now pushing lower because it's giving confirmation that some of these names want to follow through on that rejection and push us into the levels that we know should be magnets, right? So I hope that answers your question, Zuka-san. It really has to do with who's leading the day. If the NQ is lagging or if the Nvidia is lagging, right? Don't just watch. If you're going to trade the NASDAQ and you're just, you're going to trade the NASDAQ compared to the Mag 7 names and stuff like that, that's great. I use those. But relatively speaking, you need to use the NASDAQ. That's why I have the S&Ps up, because I don't really trade the S&Ps, but I use their levels and I use the comparison between the two as well as the Russell to see what the small caps are doing. Because if the Russell is doing something where it's pushing up and leading us in a direction, it tends to kind of pull us around a little bit here and there depending on the day. And if you see something diverging, let's say NQ and ES look exactly the same, but the Russell looks a little bit different, then maybe one of the names is going to do something a bit different. So you got to see who's leading, who's lagging, and then make your decisions throughout the day based on that, because it'll probably stick around, right? Based on the information we had here and the information we had on NVIDIA over here, I would have said NVIDIA's short was likely, right? So if I was an equities trader, I would use the futures, the NASDAQ, right? I would use this chart up above. Oop, I don't know if I got the right click on there. Yeah, I would use this chart to lead this chart to tell me that, hey, the NASDAQ is relatively weak compared to a lot of things. Let me see what I got in my Mag 7 world. Oh, NVIDIA is rejecting a major key level that I have drawn up on my chart. So I'm going to go ahead and short that name to try and catch up to where that futures contract is going. So if you're using the confluences from all these other names, you should be able to put yourself in a position where you can at least limit your risk. And if it fails on you, it fails on you. But at least you had a really good reason why you were taking that trade, right? The only thing I may consider, right, because technically my overnight low is the bottom. I want to see this gap fill. I could take a divergence strategy off the gap fill back above this purple area, but if it doesn't quite come into there, then I can't do it. I want to see a heavy tilt down here at like the 78 level. Then I want to see a delta divergence, right? You want to see price. Now that price is ticking up right on this standard deviation away from VWAP, right? That big move there would be a nice little catch if you could. If it's just going to V-bottom off of it, then you're going to miss it. But I think you do get a little bit of rejection. Comes up to 20, tries to flush the low, and then you get a delta push that doesn't quite make it the same depth below the price action. So then you get a little bit of divergence there. Then you have more confidence that maybe if NVIDIA bounces like it's doing now, it bounces further, and then you can get that bit of a move from there to there. Let's see what Apple is doing. Apple, with its earnings later, trying to push down. I think realistically, if Apple gives up this bottom here, if Apple gives up 171 and pushes into that 170 area, and something like this happens, maybe even if it ticks up and it starts to sell off, I think once you get to earnings, if you're underneath these blue lines or getting close to 68, I think 68 cracks. No matter what the earnings are, I think it doesn't really matter. I think 68 cracks, and you get down into maybe these range here and see what happens from there. Because just for some reason, Apple likes to get beat up this year. I don't know what it is, but potentially watch Apple for that. Microsoft ticking up. This will help me. Microsoft helps me a bit. Hopefully you guys are taking good trades. If you are executing, using your good risk management. I know Kramer said he had a level at 31, which was a good short area right here. You could have taken that down into that lower band and even into this overnight low, this 478 level, which is a magnet for me. And then we had the opening range breakdown. Ray took the rejection of VWAP. See, these are all things that I don't trade, but everybody can make money off of the levels, which is great. So it doesn't have to be a copy trading type environment. It's a community here of people just making good decisions on their own. That's all I want to see. Everybody making the money. Making the money. Get deeper into that. I got to close that gap. Yeah, I got to get down below that 78. Even if it doesn't completely close that purple zone, I need to get into that 78 and do something like it just did. And like I say, if this happens, right? So you got that deep wick below here. That wick did not quite get as far down as the price action did. This could go now without completely closing it. This could just be a front run of this and go. But personally, like I said, I do need that confirmation down below that area for me to at least give myself the best opportunity to time this correctly. I want to be timing it correctly. I don't want to be in early. I'm not that kind of person where I could take the heat. So that overnight low technically right there is what it just wicked. So if that's the wick of that and it goes, then I missed it. But I really have that level down below here that's kind of interesting to me for price to kind of get to, and then potentially give you more of a reason to go upside, especially after that huge move down after Powell's speech concluded yesterday. We kind of just are floating higher, and then now getting right into that resistance at 78, this area right here. I think a potential flush of that area leads to further downside. So that's why I am cautious to take the long right away and then go for it. I want to see that flush and then see the bounce, because I think a real break of this could, I'm not a real breakout trader. Like I say, I don't play continuations great. What is up, Jofi? How we doing? I don't play breakouts great. I don't play continuations very, frequently, but this is the time where I feel like maybe if it does crack this level, then the overnight low, previous day low do get tagged. So that's why I'm being very patient on this, because this could fail here at any second and then break through the 78. If it does get through 78, I think 400 isn't out of the realm of possibility, that red line right there. So I want to be patient on those entries, because I want to be timing it correctly where I'm getting a good volume press to the high side. You see, this is not, even though we did wick the bottom and we're pushing up, we're sort of just grinding a little bit here. I still think that this resistance acts strong for the time being. That probably acts pretty tight right there. If you do get a volume break of that, then maybe it goes. But right now, I'm not willing to take that entry. Especially Microsoft it broke above 398. It's holding for now, but I want to see what happens to it in the next minute or so. And it's also 4 minutes till 9, so I can't enter anyway. I would have been able to enter off of this candle here, but anything after this, I can't. So I got to wait till that hourly close. Do we have something at 10, at 9? Factory orders comes out at 9. It is a 2-star event, so possibly gives you a little bit of an algorithmic pop and then a failure or something the other direction. But you can see that volume started to tick up a little. We got 3 minutes till the hourly close. Markets have been open for 27 minutes, and I have taken nothing. No trades yet today. Patience has paid off pretty well this week, in this month, April, and pushing into May now. We're up quite nicely since the start of this XFA, about 4,600 on the XFA, so can't complain about that. Hell yeah, Jofi, good job. Crush it. I think you'll get more clean price action moves today as opposed to yesterday. Obviously, you could already see it. You got a breakdown here. You're kind of breaking above this level here at 20. 20s are pretty important. Maybe it gets up in the VWAP before it goes back down again. Maybe it never goes back down again. But me working very hard on not playing on between my levels. This is the only thing I possibly could have taken, because technically the top end of that purple box was my overnight low, but it's not really my overnight low, because I considered yesterday's post-market price action low as the low. This also concerns, right, if this fails the breakout, then the break of this 78 possibly is a true break down into the overnight low. Then we'll watch the overnight low for that rejection. Like, it wants to bounce. It wants to bounce, but you can see over here. Let's go to this. Yesterday's price action after the big manipulation move up, big push down. Now we're back into the area from yesterday. This is I consider this the overnight low, because look at that wick below failure. Hold. Then we popped up, right? And now that's the low. Technically, we could get deeper into this zone here, right? That 432, even that 427. So a crack of that 427 just really kind of puts us back into that previous day low. I think if you crack this level, you do get down to this red line here. And I really think if you break through this blue line, then that red line probably gets tagged. Yeah, we haven't. That bottom end of that purple zone is that gap. Technically, the bottom end of that gap, a proper gap fill. So like I said, I don't think the timing is correct for that long. You could have capitalized on it and made a little bit. right? If you decided to take that long there, you could have made $500 or whatever. But you can't think that this move right here is going to give you follow through. You're going to scalp it and get out, then good on you. But like you said, this failure of this breakout probably leads to the fill of this gap. Now that it's 11, I mean, it's not 11, it's 9 o'clock. Watch to see if this will flush. Now 78 is going to pop. Well, I don't know what the number was. I really don't care. It's just to see what price action does, because technically this number doesn't really matter. Factory orders is 1.6. 1.8 was expected. So factory orders are down according to that number right there. I want to see a heavy tilt if it does, and when it does crack that 78. That blue line is 78. 78, 75. You see that heavy delta. Nice heavy push. Price didn't quite push as heavy as the delta did, so there's a slight divergence there. Every other name not near their overnight lows. This is going to probably, I think, like I said, if this level does break, you're going to get some heavy sellers come in. There was a pretty big size there selling at 483. So at 483, we had 100 lot, 147, 121, 140. So like probably somebody selling about 500 lots right there at 53. From 53 up to, and then, but there's one guy that was buying at 88. So, but I think the seller is going to come in here heavier. Let's see what happens with this sell now. Is this going to be a good confirmed sell? We got 73% on the tilt. Still heavy delta. Nothing telling me, hey, we're going to get long here. Let's watch, wait and see. There's a heavy flush of that. Like I mentioned, I think a crack of this 78 probably gives us a continuation and likely into that red line. I don't have the confidence in this turning around right there. I want to see what happens at this yellow line here. See if that's going to give me a divergence at all. But I do think that red line probably gets tagged. It's getting heavy. The follow through from yesterday's pop and sell now coming into play here. If now this recovers above 78 and we start to press up into here, then I could potentially go long through that. But I would like to get the divergence down here, maybe get one more flush down and a pop, and then I could go long off that. But I want this S&P to get down into that 50-44. If S&Ps can get down into the 50-44 level and reject, that's where I would like to be interested in the NQ starting to do its rejection. Apple rolling over. Nvidia also broke the pre-market lows. Microsoft failed the highs, right? So these are the things I look for. It could just continue to sell off the whole day. Like I did mention that the crack of that 78 probably gives you a solid flush to the downside. So if you are somebody who likes to play continuations, that seemed likely to me right there. But as I mentioned, I have to wait for my levels to come into play, especially, early in the day. I don't want to force something in away from my levels. I like to give myself a chance. So I want to see this, like I said, down into 50-44, and then see what the NQ is doing at the time that gets there. So if it can flush the bottom here, get to 50-44, right? Even 46. If you get to 46, 48, was that the bottom there? Yeah, 48 was the bottom. So potentially that is the bottom, but I need a little bit more confidence in this. It's getting heavy long on the tilt, so interesting there. False breakdown, recovery, breakout above this trend line, possible long opportunity there. I think that holds. Like I said, it's all about timing, 45 to 65. That's a 20-point move there that you could have took a long off the bottom. But technically for me, I said I would expect this to kind of give you that secondary leg to the downside before coming back up. These kind of moves tend to get up to here, reject, come back down again. So I just want to be ensuring that my timing is good so I could just get in, trail out pretty fast, I want my moves to happen fast. I want to be right quick, and I want to be wrong even faster. So I'm going to go finish this espresso shot. Ah, yes. Very nice. The way I'm trading, especially of late, I'm looking for that one good A plus trade, right? Yeah, this could have been an A setup right here, the breakdown of this, probably another A setup for a breakdown to that overnight low. But like I said, I think a break of this probably gives you a flush to the red line. And if it can continue through, I need to see what happens on this side to give me that extra layer of confidence in the NQ having the right timing for it, right? So it's all about timing for me. The A plus, the plus really means the timing of it. You know, this is an A set up at a level. However, the plus didn't happen because the timing wasn't there yet. So if we could break it now, break it again, this is what I want to see, right? I want to see price try to break this low, and I want to see delta remain up here in the, you know, above this low. So if I could get delta to remain above this low, but price make new lows right down below this overnight low, that tells me that there's buyers still coming in here. More buyers relative to the amount of sellers that are coming in price, right? So if I could get this price to wick the low, get it to wick the low even further, give me a hard wick, give me a heavy tilt to the short side, then I'll possibly look to go long now through this overnight low if I could get that. Yeah, you can see delta way up here, price all the way down at the lows. I want to see if this will give me an opportunity to wick that bottom and then give me a long opportunity right there. Let's see what happens. If I could see delta pop, we may get filled here. Possibly. It could flush heavy though. I am fighting the strength. There we go. Probably going to get taken out here for a $200 loss because I got wicked in there. Didn't wait for that confirmation. Well, let's see. Yeah, that's heavy. We're going to take a loss there. We're going to be out quick. I'm using my delta here on the Quant Tower platform. I'll take one more shot at it through the long because this is my setup. Price is heavy. Maybe I want to wait for that to get to the low there, but I do want to shoot my shot at it quick. I'm going to wait. I'm going to let it go. Let it go. If it goes this time, it goes this time. But that is the setup that I want to see, right? I want to wick the bottom and then get above it. And I want delta to be up in this area here, right? Because that means that the sellers aren't playing along the same way the buyers are. But S&Ps are heavy. NQ is still heavy a bit. Russell's still heavy a bit. NVIDIA is still heavy. I'm going to wait on the next entry, try and recover that. See if this S&Ps could get itself to that 44 like I asked it to do. See what happened with the delta. See, now it's pushing down heavier. Seems like it's a heavier continuation kind of environment here, but that could be the wick bottom that I want to see. So if it does recover this level, which it might not, I'm going to have this buy here just in case. Sorry. If this bounces off of 44, then this failed breakdown could be what I'm looking for, possibly looking down at this previous day low. As I mentioned, there is that wick right to that where we're at right now. So we are wicking that low there. S&P's just getting close to 50.44. If it could reject this level here, then possibly now we get our actual rejection. Delta still didn't make new lows, still holding up. Now it's trying to. There it goes a bit, but still relatively compared to the price action, right? You can see price break down here. Price breaks here. Delta finally waited and then kind of followed through. There's the heaviness. Everything's getting really, really heavy now. So I'm going to take that off. Not going to look to do that. I took my shot at the overnight low. Have to take that every time. Timing-wise was good. Delta was good. The only thing that didn't really line up was this S&P not being at its overnight low, but right now it's flushing it. So I kind of said if we break this 78, probably flush down to the red line. So let's see if the red line will hold or if it's going to break. Wait for that same sort of, I don't like this being long there right now. Everybody trying to play a bounce play at that low. I want to see the same delta type move here now. Let's see what kind of low we create. If S&P can reclaim that 44, do we get a little bit more on it? Let's see. I want to see what this looks like on the 5-minute. I have Quantower is a free platform that if you use, I have AMP as my brokerage. You could also use it in Top Step as well. But I pay for data fees. Yeah. $35 a month for all the data fees. That was a nice little wick to the bottom there. Probably that red line acts as the support for now. NVIDIA catching a little bit of a bounce. Do we get the setup again? Do we get the flush of the low and then a rotation back up? That's what I want to see. We'll try it at this level. That's why we didn't take the second shot there. I want to see if this level will play with us. This 44 level key, if it recovers. What's Microsoft doing? We are 0 for 1. Took a loss on that. Looking at Microsoft to bounce from there. Nice little bounce off of the low. Could have taken that one there on the first. It seems like the first bounce off of it's pretty nice each time. So just kind of noting that. But you can see we're recovering that 50-44 level there. If we could get through the overnight low again, I would like to rotate all the way up. I'll watch this level. I'll watch the break above 50. Because that kind of just recovered all of the lows right there and now could really be into buy. So I'll give it one more shot through my level again. If we get stopped, we get stopped. Shit happens. But I'm giving it a little bit of room above that. If we can get down through the previous day low again, then we try the same setup back through to the highs. Delta popped up, price popped up. See if we can get maybe a flattening of Delta, or if price can dip below that level again, see if we can get that to do it, but it doesn't seem like it wants to. I think we probably give us some strength. That was a higher volume wick off low of the previous day low. So the high volume failed break, looking to rotate back high side, possibly look to get the VWAP. And we'll stop in here, look to see what happens at 78. Try and trail tight to 78, and then see if we can break through 78 and get up into VWAP and higher. That's really kind of the idea here with this. Trying to get this to be a good view so you can see it. Good Delta push to the high side there. Look to see if Delta will crack through that level there. Looks like it wants to. I'll play this break back above. And if I get stopped out, that'll be it for the day probably, unless I can trail tight for a smaller loss. S&P recovered 50-44. Microsoft is bouncing from lows. If I can get some good volume on this pop, that'll be nice. 69% long, not heavy tilt. If it gets into the 80, I'll hammer this out. But I don't think it's going to do that. So that's a strong push. You're small long at 36. Good. I'm going to get long at 50. So it's a funny point to get long based on this trend line, but I'm going to do it. It's just based on my levels and not the trend lines per se. I would like this all the way up here. That'd be great. If we can get above this trend line, then possibly, like I said, up to 78. I want to get through here a little bit further before I go to break even. I want to see this break even button work. Let's see, Temple, see if it works good. Can we get through that level above us? I don't want to risk below the overnight low. I'm only going to risk 135 on it. See if we can break through it. If we can get break through this high right here, then I could get to break even. So the higher this candle breaks, I'll go to break even. Looks like it's rejecting that trend line. Not right fast. I'm wrong. Wrong fast. So we're down 350. We have one good trade left in us. Technically, once it hit off on that trend line there, probably could have been looking to mitigate down to break even. Good job, Jofi. I like it. I like the idea. Take one more shot this. I'll take one more shot. Oh, that's a 3 lot. I did not want a 3 lot. Why is it on 3s? Let's get it. Let's get it. Come on now. One good trade of the day here. We'll go to break even. Let's see what happens. I'm going to hit this break even button to see. It worked. Beautiful. We're at break even on it. Let's see if we can get a pop up to 78. If we can get up to 78, we're going to go right to that low of the purple zone for our up 45 bucks on this. 40. Good stuff, Zuka-san. Let's go. I mean, Jofi. Sorry. Wrong names. I want to get up into that 40. It's going to stop me out, is it? Is it? Isn't it? Come on, baby. Get me up there. Nope. Failed. Come on. Push up. Yeah, I'll keep that even. Got to take that base hit there on that 70, that rejection there. But I'm going to wait now. I still have one good trade left in me. 2 times up about 100, then to take small losses. Just not the follow through that I wanted to get. I should have been a little bit more patient on this one. That entry right there above 50 to 70 gets me covered. That was the real entry. I pulled my stop just a bit too tight, and then we did not get that good move there. Microsoft rejecting now. Do we flush this overnight low back to previous day lows, or do we continue back on with a support here? That's what we got to wait and see. Wait and see. Patience, patience, patience. Could be that V bottom. Couldn't get above it. Yeah, I agree. Kind of just forced it in there. I liked the long above here. Just didn't get it to play along on the candle that I wanted it to. Sheet happens. A flush of this overnight low potentially rotates us back to the previous day low. So I don't hate a short idea here with this Microsoft. Let's see what NVIDIA is doing. Well, I'm going to start playing with my levels here. NVIDIA looking to get heavy through this. But it looks like a little head and shoulders type deal. We are holding above this trend line crack now. It's not a perfect trend line by any means. See what Delta's doing. Heavy Delta candle. See if this crack here happens. Delta looking to push back downside, getting heavier in the Delta. Price still trying to tick back up. One good trade away from making it back and having a great day here. Made 380 yesterday, 350 yesterday, down 350 today. We're even for the last 2 days at the moment. Looking to see if I could crack. Let's see if we can crack above this 78. If we can really accept back above the 78, then the volume possibly comes into it. Where did my level go? Disappeared? There it is. I lost it for a second. I said I knew I was playing with some level here. It was not there on the screen. Take that 10 points, Jofi, and be happy with that for sure. I want to see if any of these 7 names will go. If NVIDIA gets heavy, this is a downside pressure type day. Let's see what's going on over here? 67% long on the tilt. I'm going to go short one through that low. You're aggressive on the short. I like it. It's either short below 45 for me and a long above 78, 80. I'm actually short, obviously, like here. You can see below 38. Looking to see if I can just rotate down to that previous day low and maybe flush that level just based on the heaviness of the market right now. If this is going to hold the overnight low here, then potentially a rotation back up that side. But I like the heaviness coming in. You can see Delta now clicking downside a little bit more. Let's give it a go. Give it a go on the short there, Jofi. What's your stop on the 51? 60? It's got to hold below the overnight low. It can't just wick it.
Order filled.
Purple zone. I am short. Let's see if I run the sirens. Maybe it'll heavy us down. Come on, baby. Get us heavy. You're short for 51. My stop's at 52. I want to see this thing melt through the overnight low, but it looks like it kind of want to wick us. It looks like it wants to wick us out, right? For some reason. It's holding this overnight low, holding the overnight low, holding it, holding it, holding it. The Delta was getting heavy. To me, it wants to break through it, but not yet. My timing is a little off on it. There we go. Come on, crack now. Crack through it. I'm only going to risk. Nope, I'm going to keep that risk over that 70. Nope, I should not have done that. All right. Looks like we're done for the day. Down 650. Done for the day. Overtrade, not overtraded. I probably was a little too tight on a couple moves. And I'm going to lock myself out on this. Lock me out. Good, done. Still up 2,700 after this little wonk day. Done quick for the day on the downside for the loss. Kind of sucks, but it is what it is. I really wanted this long through from here. Didn't take that. Took the long through the overnight low. Got stopped out for a loss, even though I should have been up on it. And then this one, we tried to short through that level. Got wicked in, wicked out. Now it's going to probably rotate high side based on our normal strategy of waiting for the overnight low to fail and to go high side. So there is a nice little delta divergence there for the long idea too. So there's the higher low on delta pushing upside. Looks like the longs are in right now. If you want to take them, that was a good wait. Be patient. I should have kind of eyeballed that there. Seeing this inverse head and shoulders too, kind of pop this 78, look to rotate. But, sometimes you lose, sometimes you win. Shit happens. We are down for the month of May now. So over the last 2 days, we'll go here, daily balance. Up and to the right, still very, very healthy. We had that nice win on Monday. Where is today? Today is not here. Up until today, this was our account. Tuesday, we had a down day of 127. Tried to get in one good trade, didn't get it. Yesterday, had a decent trade there at 350. So we were up about 2 on the week, just over 2. And then now we're down 650. So we'll call it we're up 1,400 for the week. I don't know if this is not uploading or something, updating. Daily balance, like I said, still up and to the right, so still happy with this. I don't know why it's not showing today's trades, probably because I just locked myself out. I'll hang on the stream. Like I said, I locked myself out. Great move off that overnight low. Great move off that previous day low. Just, sometimes you see the levels perfectly. You call out exactly what's going to happen, and then you don't execute on it, and it pisses you off, right? No reason to not have taken that. And this one right here is the one that gets you. I wanted that secondary push down, wanted that confidence that it was going to hold. It's very difficult to take that V-bottom entry, level to level is probably exactly what we're looking for here today. Instead of being down 650, could have been up quite nice. It is just a matter of patience and executing along the lines of what you see on your chart. Some days you have it, some days you don't. And today we don't. So choppy chop myself, probably deserved it based on the flip of the short here. Shouldn't have been entering that. Should have been looking for that long still and taking that second, third shot at that long. That break even button worked though, Temple, so in case you didn't use it. All right. There's that rotation right to VWAP. So the strategy works once again, except if you don't execute it, it doesn't work, right? This one is kind of the one we're really kind of annoyed about. Not really annoyed, but got to the overnight low, wicked myself out because I didn't trust my full risk on it, and would have had easily the full amount on that trade right there. For 590, even if we waited till above this candle, it was 400, 450, puts us back above even, and then you could look for that next break of 78 potentially to get us back to VWAP. So instead of locking ourselves out, we do lock ourselves out. We're maintaining good risk management. I'm not going to go up into that $1,000. That last one, I risked my full risk and went a little over my $500 loss limit, but that's fine because I was looking to shoot my shot on something that I expected to play out. Could have kept it a little tighter based on the way the price acted there, but I kind of wanted to just let my risk play. Overall, like I said, the levels are playing out beautifully. Pay attention to the levels and then find a reason to get into them for the opposite end, right? Everything we talked about happened throughout this morning. We got the flush of 78. I said if it flushes 78, we probably get to this red line down here, the previous day low. So we got right to there. Rejected it, rotated right back through the overnight low. S&Ps rejected through 44, then recovered it. And that's really what happened. Yeah, the hourly, even the 30-minute, really big wick below that 78 level and right back above it and holding. So now I find that to be pretty bullish. Could rotate to the highs throughout the rest of the day. So if we could see that happen, that'd be nice. I'll hang on and watch and wait. I'm not able to trade. I locked myself out. We hit our personal loss limit, not the daily loss limit on the account. So we're still up nice for the week. It's all about trading and limiting your risk on a day-to-day basis. Realistically, I should not be down on a day like today. My executions were there, but the timing was just a little off. Like I said, timing is everything. The flush of this could have happened, could have took it. Not an A+ for me, although, all signs pointed to this happening, so I should have been kind of conscious of that short, just to catch the short and then rotate back to the high side using the levels. We tried the long from here based on the timing of it. We did not wait for this timing, and that last layer of confluence was the layer that I should have waited for, right? That last little bit was, so I saw the flush there. And then that was the bounce. So the bounce came at 9:10, which was here. That was where I should have waited for. And that's where you get that confluence of that break back above that level and push back high side. So that could have gave me the confidence to push back in. Unfortunately, I have that on the 5, so didn't help much. 9:10, 9:11, 9:10. 9/11. So the break above this candle here could give you the confluence because of this S&Ps breaking back into their overnight low, giving you the ability to, like you said, Jofi took that long from down here and then getting that follow through. That was a really nice move there for that catch based on the S&P level recovering, right? So that was good. Good trading there. Bad on me for timing wise and maybe being a little too tight on a couple of these, right? Because I got stopped here. Could have took 400 there. Just trying to review it for myself personally. I like this level here. Where's the circle? I like that level there. That entry. And I did like this one too. And instead of going long, I went short. I got wicked in right there for the short and then stopped out right there. But that's a good long as well. So we'll go here with that. We'll look at the long there. And then the breakdown of this level is pretty interesting to me as well. So I'm going to write up. So these, I just draw these things just to kind of mind it for myself for later. Maybe go and review it. Where we talked about this short through this level. And I'll just kind of put that text there. I'll say, hey, talked about flush to red line to previous day low. Right, that's what I talked about there. So you can see why I have that arrow there. Talked about the flush to the previous day low. This right here got confidence, got set up, weighted. The S&P recovered overnight low. So, oh, I don't know why that's in the middle there. That's interesting. Okay. Did not execute here. Executed short there instead of long. So there we go. Now I have the notes on what I did wrong. And, you know, you don't necessarily need a journal per se. You just need to use your charts to your advantage. You could journal on your charts, right? If I could clean up this trend line even, probably make it a better trend line. It probably works out even better. Bang, right there. Beautiful. If I were to do adjust the trend line, it stays below, it wedges. This is exactly what I was looking for yesterday. A little sloppy in my drawings today. And what I was doing and looking for, like I said, just sloppiness gives you this kind of red day. Because if you're sloppy and you're not doing what you're supposed to do, then you don't get what you want. But like I said, you got the setup here. Flip short here would have just stuck with my long bias off of the low. Would have been just fine once again. So once, twice, 3 times through it, it's my bad. Because realistically, once we give this little bit of a flush there, let's see what the delta did there. 3 times later, yes. Right here, this candle there, higher delta. Started to get the turn on this candle. Yeah. Probably looking at that entry right there, a break above there. Instead of getting stopped out, look to re-enter for a long. However, once I hit my loss limit, I'm done. There's no reason to get short here. Personally, I guess I just waited and I got duped. Sometimes you get duped. Sometimes the market plays you a bit. But we talked about that flush there. We talked about the setup here. I talked about the setup here. And the rotation back to VWAP is really what I was looking for. Also, the recovery, this VWAP band also helps you quite a bit. So that 1 second, that 1 standard deviation off of VWAP, a lot of times price likes to reject off that to return back to VWAP as well. We trade for tomorrow. We are up still pretty good for the week. As I mentioned, yesterday we were up, let's see. That's not what I was looking for. I'm looking for this. Still not showing today for some reason. The daily balance up and to the right, including today's debauchery, down a little. Trying to do some math here for the days. So we were up 1677, down 127. So that's 6, 5, 1500, down 1500, pretty much 1555. Up 1555. Then you throw 349 in there. So that's 19, just about, right? 15, 16, 17, 18. And then the 50 is 19. And now you're down 6. So you're up 1,300 for the week. We are locked ourselves out. We manually locked ourselves out. We do not want to trade anymore to force in anything. Could have took this long here and went for it and made a good bit of money on that long off the VWAP. Probably would have got out somewhere around here, around $1,300, but she happy. I'll stay on here like I always do, trying to talk through what levels I'm seeing, what kind of price action we got going on. Tomorrow we have NFP. We do have that pre-market, so watch out for what the NFP brings. Non-farms, yes, last time we got 238 as opposed to, I believe, we had 300 as opposed to 200. That was last time as well. So I think that they're looking for that number that they wanted to get last go around. So we'll see if that beats again, if NFP beats again, and maybe this continues to rally on. It is a Friday. Fridays tend to be expansionary days. Last week, we kind of got ourselves a little bit of mess on Friday based on that continuation type trade playing out. So watch what happens the rest of the day today. See where we end up. See where we open after the non-farm number and see what we could get going. Let's see if I could find that in my 30-minute chart here. Explosions in Iran. NFP beats 303 over 200. Oh, messed up that chart there. Let me show you this chart here. NFP beating last time, April 5th. Right here, we got the NFP beat 730, dipped down right into some structure, and then you immediately rallied up. So if we get any sort of beat on NFP, watch for that, any sort of break of structure, either to the high side, then, or if it's the opposite way around, if it breaks to the low side, watch for it to continue to go in that direction on that Friday. So we'll look for another Friday, Monday. This is a Thursday, Sunday. So that was a holiday. Here's another Friday right here, a rally day. Friday here, or Friday rally to the downside. So it's a continuation day. Every Friday seems to be whatever direction it's going, it continues to go in that direction. So be mindful of that. This was my setup. This is what I was supposed to be shooting my shot at, and I did not do it, and I am disappointed in a little bit of what I did there. So could have made some good money today. Did not. Gave some back for the week, but we're still in good shape. Still green for the week. Still waiting to see where we end up. Possibly tomorrow we could get a nice little setup just like we did today and actually execute on it appropriately. This is the one I probably should have avoided, right? That first loss right there, this one right here, something about it said maybe we don't have exactly what we wanted, right? That was right. What time was that? 9:07, 9:06, 9:07. So over here, not quite making the same deal, right? We're not at this low yet. And I was talking about how I wanted to get to that 50.44 before this got to here. We did not. Thought maybe that was a divergence here, but we actually ended up getting to it and really should have been waiting for this long there. So overall, I can see what I did wrong. I can see the execution being a bit hasty, but we still have a good concept on what actually is going on, what we were looking for, what we should be trading, what we were going to get out of each one of these moves, right? We did get what we wanted to get out of them, right? That up we flushed 78 immediately down to pretty much immediately, down to that overnight low, bounced right back to 78, then got to that red line, as I mentioned. Then we got back above the overnight low, which I was trying to go long on. I did, and then I got stopped on it when I should have been long on it. And then I got another short here because I anticipated this to break through the low here and kind of rotate back to lows, and it didn't. It did exactly what we kind of were looking at with the recovery back above this trend line and to the high of the VWAP right there. So I was trying to get in this, get long, and get into that trend line. I didn't really adjust this trend line appropriately to get myself a better concept of what was going on, a better visual. I kind of had it tucked down a bit more, which did not allow me to get a good, I was playing a different type of level, which didn't work out. And now watch this 78 level again. After you get up into VWAP, reject it, try to wick the high again, watch 78, see if it breaks down. Tight day, rangy day. I think you're breaking through that level again. So watch the break through that level. Could rotate down to the overnight low again, because that 78 is pretty strong of a level. A pretty strong level, not pretty strong of a level. Got to try and use my English correctly. Could have been a really great day, to be honest. I saw a lot of really good opportunity there, and I botched it. So that's reality of live trading for you. That's how you should be seeing people trade. If they are going to make mistakes, you want to understand what the mistakes are. You want to see transparency. This is transparency. I hope you get value out of seeing kind of what I did and what I should have been doing, kind of talking through what I was seeing and not being precise with my entry, right? I'm usually pretty good with being precise. I'm pretty good at catching the flushes on the short side, getting to be able to trail tight and maximize my gains on them. Apparently, long side, I'm very standoffish on being able to catch it. So it might be a long thing that I do a lot worse on. So a lot of times when we're on these lows, I try to go long and I get myself flipped right into a short bias again, right? That's why I flipped here. So I got to work on these long setups over some of the short setups, right? Because I find the short setups to come easier to me. Like right now, I would have probably looked to short 78 after the breakdown of this level, right? And that would have been really good timing. Allowing myself to trade more, yeah, I could have made back and then some, but I also could have done a good job of just kind of patienting. But once I hit that loss limit, that was it. I said, once we flush that 78, the short comes in, overnight low gets tagged. So I think we actually could even go deeper than we did this I think we break the low of the day here if we can get through this overnight low. So, yeah, shorting, same here, Jofi. I think that's just, I have a good idea on short bias. Just doesn't happen today. Today was a long setup and really could have, managed it a little bit better for myself. I think that's why we both had that short. Yeah, we both had that short idea right there. You were in a better position to mitigate a loss a bit better, potentially. Maybe you front ran it at 51, got down to 40, could have even secured 10 points on it. Obviously didn't, probably got break even or stopped out for a small loss. But I was looking to short through a level that potentially wasn't ready to get shorted. And then up here, now I could see it so clearly because I'm not, going to execute on it, right? So just seeing this trend line break here even, and then the return back to it, not shorting the trend line, but shorting the confirmed breakdown of the key level, pushing us right into the overnight level, right? So that's another move where you could have made some good money. We talked about that now. Hopefully you're still understanding what, even if I have poor executions, I think if you pay attention to my levels, pay attention to what I'm talking about, you're going to have a good idea of what you want to do and then make your own choices, right? I am not a signal service, and I'm also not perfect. I don't think anybody is as far as the trader is concerned. Some days you're in the zone. Some days you just kind of a little bit off. And that little bit off got me today because there was 3 spots where we could have made really good trades, really good money. And, I wasn't willing to play this one, which I should have probably been willing to have played the breakdown just based on the heaviness of the market after breaking the gap. Short that. And then this long setup came in due to that S&P recovering that 44 level. Could have easily caught that previous day low up to the VWAP. Or, really probably wouldn't have gone all the way VWAP. Probably would have got here and trailed out. But you can see that I'm going to make the adjustment for tomorrow on it, and we're going to go from there. So that's all we can do. And like I said, tomorrow we do have non-farms. We have numbers to come out. I think realistically, you will have opportunities to get some good trades in tomorrow. Tomorrow, Friday, tends to be an expansionary type day, a continuation of whatever happens during the day. So let the market kind of tell you a direction, and then maybe we could get a good follow through on a move. Maybe we get an immediate rejection of a key level. If we could open tomorrow on a pre-market low or a pre-market high, like an overnight high or an overnight low, and play the opening range break, I think we can get a really good follow through on that tomorrow. So that's what I'm going to look to do. And if I could, recover the loss from today and then a little bit, then I'll be happy, or even catch some of it. I need 2 more green $200 days to be able to take another withdrawal. So we were planning on withdrawing tomorrow if we would have caught that winner today, but now we got to wait till probably Monday for that withdrawal request. And I will show the withdrawal request live on the stream because transparency is everything here, right? So looking to see what we could do here as far as tomorrow. You get about, another $200 winner. You can see the profit curve up and to the right. Yesterday, we got our balance up to 42.21 total. This is with withdrawal. We're over here. I'll show you this screen here. This is my top step. And you can see the adjustments. This is a withdrawal here. So this is all transparency. This is everything that I do. We started the account. This was just I never went into drawdown. This is the day 9. So this is your trailing drawdown for the daily balance, right? Once your account hits 0, then you have a drawdown to 0, right? So as of yesterday, we drove our profits from starting this account till yesterday to 42.21 minus 600 on the day. So minus 600 from there is 38, right? Nope, it's 30. I'm retarded. 36. So yesterday we were at 42. We drew down a little bit from there, pretty much even to that. So we're right into this range here, just shy of 4,000 on the account, minus the $800 withdrawal. I need 2 more days. It says I have enough. Do I have enough? It says 10 $200 winning days. So I do have more $200 winning days, but since the withdrawal, I have only 3. So it's between withdrawals that you can take it. I'm trying to show you kind of how this works with Top Step, right? So as you make your money, so I have 10 $200 winning days, but of those 10, 7 of them were prior to the previous withdrawal. So once I hit off on 2 more, so I'll have to have a total of 12, then I will be able to withdraw again. Hopefully I can get this account up into that 5,000 area. Tomorrow, have a nice day, catch a nice little runner. And then on Monday, got to do one more, or whenever I do, get one more $200 day. Like I said, we were up and to the right, took a couple losers. This was the only day I'm really kind of disappointed in, that $900 losing day, because I decided to overtrade on it, but came back strong, recovered it, and then some this week. That one day afterwards, tried to get in one trade, did not secure it, saw something that I didn't like, and banged out for a small loss. And then yesterday we caught one quick winner on that FOMC meeting, for 350, and then today now we're down 6. So we're right around this range here, right around that $4,000 profit for this account, right? You can see we took one withdrawal. That's what that is, that adjustment. And this is the way we're able to be profitable, right? Our average winning trade is 250, and our average losing trade is a 171. Really, our average losing trade is a little over 200, depending on the day. But our winning percentage is 77% at the moment, not including today, because today it'll tick us down a bit, and it'll actually probably increase this average losing trade some. But that's our statistics on the day, on the account. So this is full transparency, showing you the high account balance, the current account balance, but this is minus withdrawals, our worst day, our best day. Keep our best day above our worst day, and we'll be just fine. Average winning day is 459, 500. Average losing day is 552. However, we have way more winning days than losing days, right? Our winning day percentage is 78%. After today, probably closer to 75%. So 19 days. Of the 19 days, I've had 1, 2, 3. Today is a fourth and a fifth loser. So, 15 winning days at an average of 459 and 5 losing days of an average of 550. Can't go wrong there, right? So trying to keep the winning days up here, probably a little bit higher, and then trying to creep this losing day down, even though today was one of those days where we creeped a little bit higher than we wanted to, and probably should have been more in the winning category than the losing category, but personally just did not execute perfectly and got out when we should have. We probably should have got in here and here for the longs. If anybody has any questions about Top Step, the withdrawal process, account balances, trading strategies, techniques, anything like that, we just creeped down below that $3,000 mark personally from that on the current balance, since the withdrawal and the everything like that. So I want to get 2 more good winning days under my belt, get that back over 3, and hopefully closer to 4 or 5 after the next couple days. Take 2 good winning days and take my withdrawal, and then leave that balance at 2,000. So hopefully whatever we're over 2,000, we're going to withdraw for the next little bit. So we'll see what happens from there. Just going to kind of sit here, wait, be patient. We have 8 minutes till 10. We have no numbers coming out of 10 that I'm aware of. 10:30 we have the bill auctions, and 11 we have the mortgage rates. This was a nice little flush of this level, quick short. Now it's rotating back high side again. Let's see what Apple's doing for its earnings, pre-earnings. Apple just lingering around that 171. Could it get heavy into its earnings and then continue to be heavy? We'll wait and see. Pretty frustrating, honestly, because, everything I talked through had good winners except for the ones that I executed. You're going to have losing days, but guess what? That means that the next day, statistically speaking, I should be able to be having a nice little winner. So I'm not opposed to having a losing day. I'll see you tomorrow, Zuka-san. Thanks for coming in every day. I'll be here tomorrow morning, same time, same place. Hopefully you made some money. Hopefully you didn't do what I did and chop yourself up. I think I'll pop off here a little earlier today. I do have work today. I got to kind of make sure everything goes smooth, getting ready, taking care of business, whatnot. Overall, like I said, had really good call outs, talked about levels very well here. We're very patient for our levels to come into play. Tried to play the level once, probably slightly prematurely. That's just us playing the level, and it happens. Whatever happens there. You get stopped out. This one is the one really where I wanted to try and get long off that previous day low, and never gave me that secondary opportunity to get long off of it. This flipping short here. Later, dude. I'll see you tomorrow. Flipping short was my bad there. I should have probably never even got triggered into that, to be honest. I was so close to this. I got literally bottom ticked, and then it rotated right nice and high to the way I wanted it to go the first time through. So that one idea of flipping short really killed my day right there. So that bigger circle added to, just finished me off, decided that I was going to flip short, and then that immediate push to the high side is what I was really looking for all along. So shit happens. I think it actually happened on this candle, right? Yeah, it was there. All right. I'll pop off at 10. Normally I'm here 8:30 to 11. I have no trading bullets left in the gun, and I also think that there's not a ton of opportunity left for me in the day anyway. Would have had to have gotten back into the overnight low or the previous day low. Potentially look to see with NFP tomorrow, everything kind of goes sideways, kind of accumulate. If you get a directionality, maybe it starts to creep back up into that 600 area. If it does, then watch the overnight highs, see what happens from there. And just be cautious on your entries. Make sure that you're convinced in one way or the other, and don't talk yourself out of making your good executions, right? This was pretty clear to me. We got lows, we flushed it. We had a secondary flush right into my levels. This is why we draw these levels up every single day. They work time and time and time again. Failed breakouts work time and time and time again. It's just a matter of executing appropriately and doing what you're supposed to do, right? I just sometimes don't, and that's okay. And we didn't we oversized slightly on our loss, but we hit our daily loss limit and we locked out. It is, then we saw the opportunities come in right afterwards, and, you can't have that FOMO. You can't worry about what you could have done or what you would have done next. Tomorrow is another day. We come out here, you trade, you make your money, and you have a green week, right? So I have my week right now is green. I have no qualms right now. I have no, I don't feel like I'm in danger of having a red week, because even if I lost max loss tomorrow, personal loss limit, $500, I'll still be up just shy of $1,000. So Monday kind of carrying the week. Yesterday made a nice little bit. Today was the real first losing day. That was like an actual, day of chopping myself a bit. So just kind of letting these things play out a bit too kind of would help. This one, not so much. This was should not have been an entry. This was the appropriate entry. This was a good entry here for the short. And then this one long should have never flipped short, right? Flipping short, flipping bias. I'm not opposed to flipping my bias. I just believe that this, there was a few things that helped me think that this was going to go short, including tilt, including the delta kind of just lingering here. And then not S&Ps, the NVIDIA. NVIDIA was getting heavy. Microsoft was kind of lingering around as well. So I was thinking about that short getting through that level, and it just quite didn't possibly play through that. That was at 922, 920, 25. Yeah. So I was looking at Microsoft trying to sell off again, and it just didn't bring this NQ down like we were mentioning. NQ was leading as far as to the downside for some of these names, so I figured if they caught any sort of short bias, then this would continue to flush, but didn't. So that's where we're at. Trying to play this long through here would have been the ideal situation, especially with this little bit of a shoulder. You would have played the breakout of 78, catching that flip of the long rejection of the overnight low there, actually giving you the opportunity for the long. 10 o'clock, I know a couple people already bounced. It's time for me to just take a break get off the charts for a bit, come back on tomorrow, be refreshed, 8:30, come in with a nice little mindset. We did have really good call outs. Everything here was very planned out, and the levels work beautifully, but you just got to execute appropriately, right? Today I did not, and that's just how it goes. Probably, like I said, just hindsight being 2020, this short was not the right, this long here was the wrong timing, and it just got us into a hole that we didn't need to be in. And once we got into that hole, we kind of avoided the right setup along the way, right? Could have even had, let's say if I didn't take this first one, waited for this one, and even if I got stopped on this one, I could have had enough bullets to try a secondary push if it did go, which it would have went the first time, right? So we didn't even need to do such a thing, right? So the failure of that, go long. Overall, like I said, the levels were there. Everything worked out. Executions sometimes are a bit off. So you just got to be cautious. Understand the levels. Execute to your plan. Don't flip your bias if you don't have confirmation that that bias should be flipped. If I would have got something like this where it wicked off the high, then came back down, then maybe I should have flipped short. But realistically, things were getting heavy. I tried it. It failed. So buttons. It is what it is. So I'm going to get off today a little early, an hour early, because I am not going to be executing. We're in the middle of a range. So by the time price gets anywhere near where I would talk to you about some sort of movement, we would be done. I'll be back here tomorrow with great executions. We're going to take advantage of tomorrow. We're going to bookend the week with 2 great wins, and we're going to go right off into the weekend and have a great weekend. So come out tomorrow. Be cautious of that NFP at 7:30. Let's make some money, and I will see you all tomorrow, 8:30 a.m. Trade smart the rest of the day. Look out for that NFP tomorrow, and I'll see you tomorrow. All right?